Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the week 4 of the late model series for Big Dogs Racing. Tonight we'll be racing at Bristol Motor Speedway at the Firecracker 150. We got about 2 minutes left to qualify, and our drivers will be gridding on the track. And once they start gridding, we'll bring you over to them, and they can announce themselves to you. And starting on the pole position tonight,
car number 4, Dennis Wilder, Aaron's Chevy Camaro.
Number 80, Mark Schaefer, 5-star adjusting.
From Bloomingdale, Georgia, driving the National Guard Chevy Monte Carlo, Mark Figueroa.
Ron Miller, number 60, Down Valley Septic.
Number 96, driving the John Deere Chevy Monte Carlo, Michael Hungerford.
Number 53, Gary Moore, driving the Big Dogs Chevrolet.
Number 18 from Bridgewater, Massachusetts, Stephen Bryan, driving the Sirius XM Chevy.
Number 41 from Fredericton, New Brunswick, Canada, driving the Big Dogs Racing Monte Carlo.
Number 8, Ed Mahalsik, Motorsports Monte Carlo from Western Pennsylvania.
Number 48, Mike Taylor from Deltona, Florida, driving the Almirall Chevrolet.
Number 29, Bobby Cannon, driver of the Netstream Communications Brown Holman Design, number 29, Monte Carlo.
Number 51 from North Canton, Ohio, Donnie Gates.
Brown Holman, number 62, BB&T, Brown Holman Design Chevrolet.
Number 21, Corey Volkanot, Hoyt Archery Chevrolet.
Number 78, Andy Lashinsky, Nairmore Machine Shop Chevrolet.
Number 29.
And rounding out our field tonight, I think we have the number 32 of Robert Thompson, may have also made it. He was having some internet problems before the race. Good luck, guys. We're going to move down to the broadcast booth and wish you all the best of luck on tonight's track. Hope you have a good, clean race. And joining me in tonight's booth, we have Scott Griswold from Lexington, Kentucky. Are you from Lexington, Scott?
Yes, sir.
Lexington, Kentucky's own Go Blue Scott Joker Griswold. As we get ready to get going here on this half-mile track in Bristol, Tennessee, for the 2012 Big Dogs Racing iRacing Late Model Series. This is week 4. Going into tonight's race, Brian Holman is your points leader in the number 62 in the BB&T ride. Lights are off on the pace car. They'll be taking the green here in just a second.
Should be an exciting race tonight.
Oh, these guys are going to have a blast. This setup is really nice on the long run, and it's really good in both lines. Did a lot of working with it last night. They are starting out with 5 gallons of fuel, so they will have a couple pit stops tonight. I think the most they can put in is 7.1 gallons. as Dennis Wilder brings him around the number 4 ride. Next to him is Mark Schaefer in the number 80. There are 2 pole-sitting vehicles. I don't know which one's got the preferred line on this start. I don't know if the Highliner, we've seen all kinds of stuff work. Green is out, and Dennis Wilder gets a good jump. He gets a good, clean jump over Mark Schaefer, and he's able to just bring it up where he wants to, coming out of the corners and get a good run. And no, Mark Schaefer gets low on him. Got to give him a little crossover action. Behind them, we have Mark Figueroa and Mike Hungerford back there in the mix. There's 2 wide. We got Fig up there on the high line, and I tell you what, he's going to get going on that high line. We were running it last night, and he's got some momentum up there. We got a lead change. The 80 gets into the lead.
Did have 18 and 48 got into each other and did come around, but no caution.
Oh! Dennis Wilder turns him. I didn't see what happened. Maybe the 80 came down on him a little bit, but nonetheless, he's around. Gets rolling again.
The 18 and 48 went around as well prior to that, so that may have something to do with it.
Oh, and these guys only have 1 reset tonight, so that's got to be frustrating this early on. Let's see what happens. He just goes in, and it's hard to... It looks like Mark Schaefer didn't give him a lot of room, but I don't know. That's a close one. That's just hard racing right there, of course. You know, when you get in the back of somebody, it is your fault, you know, because you always have the option of letting off. But I don't expect these guys to let off very often. It's going to change things up in the front. That's going to move the 53 of Gary Moore into 2nd place. Behind him will be the 41, Robert Lee. He's the current defending champion. That'll move Bobby Cannon. We've seen what he can do on these short tracks. That'll move him into the 4th position. Bobby Cannon's got that pretty car all painted up with the Netstream Live on it. Looks like Brian Holman. Several of these guys are pulling in. Brian Holman, Donnie Gates, several of them back there. Watch and see if he goes for the 2 or 4 tire approach. You know, it takes a long time to put 4 tires on these. There's Mike Taylor. He's pitting. He's got some heavy damage. Mike's usually in the commentator booth with us here and does a damn good job, and we like having Mike in there. But he wanted to race Bristol. He thought he had something for this track, so he's out there tonight competing. There you go. He's got his 1 reset used up. He'll roll out of the pits.
Pit crews are busy.
So as it sits right now, it looks like Robert Thompson didn't make the show. He's currently scored 3 laps down. But sitting in the front, we've got Dennis Wilder in the 4. We've got Gary Moore in the 53. We've got Robert Lee in the 41. Behind him, we got Bobby shot out of a Cannon in the 29. And then we got Ron Token Miller from Denver, Colorado in the number 60 car. And then Steve Bryan in the 18, the Sirius XM ride. Ed Mahalsick in the Goodridge car. Right behind him, we've got Flying Brian Holman, the current points leader. Behind him, we got Mark Schaefer, who was just caught up in that thing. And then Andy Lashinsky, last week's winner, who's back there in that mix. It's a lot of heavy hitters in the back of the field. I'm wondering if that's going to cause problems with them coming through, or if these slower guys got enough setup to run with them tonight. Lights are off on the pace car. I guess we're going to get that question answered, aren't we?
Let's see if they can do some green flaps here.
It's looking pretty racy. They're tightening up real good. Pace car pulls off. And Dennis Wilder gets another good jump over Gary Moore. He's going to have to drop in behind him, but Wilder's got that clean air up there, and he's going to be hard to catch. If he can run that center groove, it's kind of hard to pull up on him.
He seems to have the restarts down pretty good right now.
Yeah, he does, and it's going to take these guys a little while to recuperate. And, you know, they're still racing really hard back there. Looks like right around Brian Holman, Ed Mahalsick, they're back there battling for the 6th and 7th position. They're going out pretty good.
29's putting serious pressure on the 41 right now.
So we got Bobby Cannon underneath him, underneath Robert Lee there, the current defending champion. We got a little bit of a race for the lead. Gary Moore's pulled up on the back bumper of Dennis Wilder. He's pulled right up there. He's been looking low a couple times, but does he have enough car to get underneath him? You know, that top line's pretty stout in these things. You know, you got to wonder, will Gary try to take him up top, or will he try to get him down low? It looks like he's going to peak low on him, but Dennis Wilder just keeps his foot all the way to the floor and drives away.
Oh,
the yellow flag is out. The 8 of Ed Mahalsick's around.
He might have got a little help.
Did he get a little help with that one?
I think so, yes. A little door shot, I think.
Let's watch. The 78's underneath him. Looks like he's got Mike Taylor behind him. Oh, the 78 comes up and just gets into him a little bit. That's not good. You know, I was wrong earlier, guys. It looks like Robert Thompson did make the race. He's out there. He's getting a lucky dog right now. He's bringing that fuzzy taco ride around. So Robert Thompson will be your lucky dog. That'll put him 2 laps down. We're on lap 16. We've still got 14 cars on the lead lap. We've got Robert Thompson currently scored 2 laps down, and Mark Figueroa 9 laps down. Wonder what happened to Mark. He must have had some serious damage a couple times. He's still sitting in the pits. I would think he'd have that all his damage repaired from that first caution. Maybe he didn't get a reset. I don't know. You know, sometimes with this iRacing, and not to knock on iRacing, but sometimes you pull into the pits to use your one repair and you don't get it. And we've had problems with it in the past, and all you can do really is make the best of it and get out there and run.
Yeah, the gaming world's not perfect. Sometimes it has their hiccups.
Yes, it does. Ed Mahalsick on the tail end of the lead lap. That's why he's up there in front of Dennis Wilder. Followed by Gary Moore and Robert Lee, Bobby Cannon, Brian Holman, Mike Taylor, Ron Miller, Steve Bryan, Mark Schaefer, Andy Lashinsky, Mike Hungerford. Any of those guys, I'm saying, they could all win this race. I've put each and every one of their pictures in the winner's circles on multiple occasions, so this thing's pretty early. I'd hate to have a tore-up car this early in the race.
Yeah, I was watching 4th and 10th place there on that last run, and they were really going at it.
Oh yeah, they were knotted up back there. It's so hard to. They're knotted up everywhere on the track, except for it seems like the leaders got a little bit stretched out. I don't know, Dennis Wilder, I don't think he pitted for tires, did he? I don't think the front 3 pitted.
I'd say they probably stayed.
Yeah, the front 3, 4, maybe 5 cars didn't pit. I think Brian Holman might have been the first one that pitted. And I would think...
Track position will be key.
You think track position? I don't know. I always like that fresh Goodyear feel, you know. I like to have that new tire on the pavement. track position may be key. I mean, it's hard to tell. They are only 20 laps in. These things are set up to run a long race, so pace car's getting ready to pull off. The lights are off. Pace car's off. Will Dennis Wilder get another screaming jump? Yes, he does. Ooh, Gary Moore doesn't go. And it gives Dennis Wilder a good 5-car length lead right out of the gate. We got Robert Lee coming up behind him, but he can't figure out which lane he wants to run, high or low. They're both fast. We got Bobby Cannon working his way up there. He's underneath Gary Moore. That's for the 3rd and 4th position. And the caution is out again.
Didn't see what happened on that one.
32 was involved in that caution somehow, which would mean he's not going to get a lucky dog, guys. That's going to keep him 2 laps down. See what happens to the 32. He's running down there with the 60. Ooh. It looks like the 60 came down a little bit, and the 32 came up a little bit, and they just hooked each other. There's old Ron Miller involved in that as well. You know, he's got to be frustrated right about now. Ron's a fast guy at Bristol. And the leader comes down pit road. Dennis Wilder comes in for tires. That's going to move Robert Lee and Mark Schaefer up towards the front. Mike Hungerford, he's in that John Deere 96. Pretty white car. We've seen Mike come out here and win some races.
You can see how Dennis Wilder does with traffic here now.
Yeah, that'll be interesting. You know, it's pretty easy to get up there in that clean air and smash the gas and go and pick your line. But when you're running behind somebody else and they're picking your braking points for you, that intensifies things just a little bit.
Yes, it does. Hey, I want to give a shout out to my kid who is on his way to the national championships in Las Vegas this weekend for Marvel Comics. Good luck, son. Hope well.
What's his name, in case anybody's out there in Vegas? What was that?
Hayden Griswold. He'll be under Kinder Party.
Game name of Kinder Party, ladies and gentlemen. He'll be out there in Las Vegas. Watch out, ladies on the strip. He's a good-looking young man. He's got that Kentucky personality. You're going to like that.
He'll have his lovely girl with him.
Oh, and he'll have his lovely girlfriend with him. So Dad didn't teach him a whole lot, huh? Never take your girlfriend to Vegas.
Well, I've been married 5 years, so I may be rubbing off on him.
5 years, huh?
25 for me.
25 years.
Yeah, just celebrated my 25th wedding anniversary.
Well, happy anniversary. Oh, another shout out, guys. I'd like to say hey to the guys over at Glacier TV. Once again, Phil Diaz is doing a fantastic job on the cameras. You guys, if you're trying to get some of your online racing broadcast, give Glacier a call over at glaciertv.com. Yanni or one of the guys will get back to you. They do a really good job. They're really excel at the European-style road course racing and some of that stuff. So if you're one of those leagues, definitely give them a call. Once again, thanks, Phil. Keep up the good work, bud.
It's always fun to drive these cars on a cash race. Makes you give a little extra.
These guys will be taking these cars to Watkins Glens at some point this season. That'll be an interesting one. And the pace car's off. And it looks like Robert Lee was the leader, and he picked the high side, so he gets a good run going into one, but he loses that lead. Mark Schaefer takes it from him up high. Mike Taylor moves into the 3rd spot. That number 48 Armor All Machines. We got Mike Hungerford just chewing up his back bumper. Mike's saying, "Where'd you come from, man? I got to get by you." as they all pretty much fall single file.
I'm going to keep an eye on the Forks Lawler, see how he comes up through the traffic. Trying to get under the 18 right now.
Got a good battle going on back there for the, what is that, the 4th, 5th, and 6th spots, 7th spots. Those guys are pretty knotted up back there. We got Brian Holman back there. Bobby Cannon back there. Looks like that bottom line is starting to pull off. Steve Bryan losing a little bit of ground to that bottom line. Gary Moore's even trying to sneak through here on the old 18. Steve Bryan, you know, he's usually blinking, and tonight he's got a nice solid car going on, so hopefully he can have a real good run and keep it off the wall. Looks like the number 78 of Andy Lashinsky. He's moving forward real quietly. Oh, he just went around Steve Bryan for the 10th spot. He's doing it on the high side, all the way around. Oh, we got a wreck.
It just got ugly back here.
We got a big wreck. I was watching Andy come up through the field. We got a big wreck. I don't see if the caution's out yet on the track. Caution is out. Caution is out. We got smoke and twisted steel everywhere. You know, Bristol Motor Speedway, what comes up must come down. Well, unless you're Gary Moore and you're stuck in the wall. Gary is our race admin. Let's take a look at what happened.
I think it starts with 2 cars up in front of the main wreck.
We've got the 8 and 62 running side by side. Got Bobby Cannon and Gary Moore behind them. But it looks like Brian Holman and Ed Mahalsik get together a little bit, and they pretty much stay out of everything. Ed Mahalsik and Brian really didn't take on a lot of damage, but I think everybody else involved took on quite a bit. That's going to bring a lot of cars down pit road and stir the order again. It looks like Steve Bryan turned Gary Moore into the wall, stuck him there. He said, "You go up here and sit in this row, seat number 7.
Yeah, 60 Ron Miller was also involved in that. He's having a tough night.
Yeah, old Ron, you know, he's checkers or wreckers sometimes, but you know, it looks like he's got it fixed. He's out on the track, and you know, we've learned from experience, you don't have to have fenders and door skins on these cars to finish well at Bristol. You just got to drive it.
Pick it out. Good things happen.
That's going to move old, who's up there now? Looks like Dennis Wilder. No, it's going to move Mike Hungerford into the lead. The number 96 John Deere ride. Well, I'm seeing a lot of these cars come out of the pits with the repairs fixed. So, you know, hopefully a lot of the guys that were caught up in this one hadn't been in another one yet, or they weren't tore up real bad in one of the other ones, and they could, you know, fix it.
I think a common occurrence with cautions is the inside car is not giving the outside car enough room.
Oh, I agree. By the way, let's give another shout out to the guys over at Bob's Motorsports at www.bullseye.9f.com. If you're into the quarter scale cars, the RC cars, you need to give Bob a call or go to his website and look them up. They got some really cool stuff going on down there. They also make race simulator chairs. So if you need a custom simulator chair built, maybe you're a really tall guy, or maybe you just want a certain way, give Bob's a call. They fabricate everything right there in shop. They'll custom order whatever you need as far as a sim chair goes. They've also got some designs Bob's made up himself. We do have a commercial for Bob's. We'll play that under the next caution. But we're having such a good time watching this race, it's hard to pull away. But we did want to give the guys over at Bob's a shout. The pace car is off. And it looks like Mike Hungerford gets a heck of a jump. And Dennis Wilder, he missed that start. He must have had it in the wrong gear or something, because he's going to lose another spot to Bobby Cannon, and maybe even another to Andy Lashinsky. We've seen him getting good restarts all night long, and he didn't get a very good one right there, Scott.
Caught him sleeping on. Looks like he's fighting back on his way, though.
Well, the 78's going to try to make a move around Bobby Cannon on the high side even. And we have a car around. The 4 car gets turned.
Oh.
Looks like the 4 and the 48 of... Let's take a look at what happened on that. 48's dog tracking pretty hard. Oh, it looks like we just caught the tail end of it. But it looked to me like the 48 had spun the 4, and then what we saw was kind of a little bit of the chain reaction at the end of it. Both cars are tore up. Both cars are going to have to come down pit road. That could very well ruin somebody's night.
2 cars going for the same piece of real estate.
Poor Mike Taylor, you know, he's always in the broadcast booth and having a good time, and he just wants to get in this one really good race. Let's hope he can get it fixed up and get back out there. We know he's used his reset. We've seen him wrinkled up a couple times already. He was dog tracking pretty hard. I don't know. I don't know. The back end of that car's, you know, the gas tank's in the back seat now, and I don't know. He may not be able to get it back out there.
Looking pretty rough for him. I'll say it's just the 3rd incident I think he's been caught up in.
And they can go laps down in a hurry here. You know, the field just keeps coming around. They don't wait for you.
Oh, absolutely not. 4's back out of the pits. Still looks pretty wrinkled.
That's going to change up our running order up front. That's going to put last week's winner, Andy Lashinsky, up there in the front in the 78 car. We've seen him creeping up there on the high side. Behind him, it's going to put Bobby Cannon in that new, fresh painted 29 car. Right behind him is Brian Holman. And right behind Brian, there's the number 80 of Mark Schaefer. We've seen him up front tonight quite a bit. Right behind Mark Schaefer is Ron Miller. Looks like Ron's going to turn his race around. You know, it looked like he was having some bad luck early on, but he's turned it around. He's up there where he needs to be when he needs to be there. You know, it's still a long race. They've got 104 laps to go. They've got 12 cars on the lead lap. Mike Taylor's 1 lap down. Gary Moore's 4. Mark Figueroa, he's 12 laps down, and Robert Thompson somehow is 16. I would think those guys may not even be left in the race. I'm not sure. But, you know, if they are, that's because they're Big Dogs members, and they like to finish what they start. So, if you guys are out there still, good job.
4 car of Wilder back on pit road and off the end trying to fix his damage.
Yeah. He's got a lot of damage there. But, you know, they will fix it. If you go in and pit enough and you burn up that repair time, they will fix your car. You can get out there and win the race with it.
He's his main, staying on the lead lap. He's doing a good job. Back on pit
As
road.
the pace car's off, watch Bobby Cannon and Andy Lashinsky. Andy takes the high side. Gets a really good jump on Bobby Cannon. Actually pulls the 80 car by him as well. Mark Schaefer. behind them, we've got Brian Holman and Ed Mahalsick, 2 wide. Ron Miller's going to sneak through there as well. Ron Miller, you know, he's going to have a good race. He's moved himself into the 5th spot. A good top 5 car right now, a long way to go. Brian Holman looks underneath Bobby Cannon, and he's going to take that spot from him. I think on these fresh tires, I think the bottom looks like it's the way to go. It looks like as the tires come in, they kind of slowly move it up the track a little bit. And Ron Miller's going to look underneath him. Ron Miller's saying, all right, guys, this is my time to shine. He's moving forward. If he can complete this pass on Bobby Cannon, he can follow Brian Holman right up there.
And the 8 car's trying to play him along as well.
He's still trying to complete that pass, though. Bobby Cannon's no joke on the high side. He's hanging on to it. He's keeping the foot down. He's got it wound up as tight as it'll go. You know he's got that red light on the dash just glowing at him. Brian Holman starts to slowly pull away and catch up to the back of Mark Schaefer and Andy Lashinsky. Ron Miller's stuck down there on that bottom line. He don't know which way to go. I mean, he can't clear him. And the 29 can't quite clear him in time to do anything about it. Oh, the caution is out. We got a pile up. Looks like, I don't know, the 56 is involved. The 18, Steve Bryan may have been involved. So much action on this track, it's hard to look back fast enough. The 48 of Mike Taylor is going to be moved into the Lucky Dog spot. Oh, it looks like Steve Bryan gets into the back of Mike Hungerford, and oh, Mark Figueroa just piles in there. Ouch, that's going to leave a mark.
Just had a T-bone for dinner.
Yes, he did. Knock the hooves and the horns off it, bring it out here on a plate. How about a word from our sponsor, the guys over at Bob's Motorsports? We got a little footage from those guys. We could go ahead and get that rolling. And we're back live, ladies and gentlemen, at the Bristol Motor Speedway. Big Dogs Racing Firecracker 150. We're 57 laps into this race, and I think we're on the 4th or 5th caution. As we look at the field currently, sitting on the pole position, we've got the number 78 of Andy Lashinsky. And we've got the number 2 of the number 80 of Mark Schaefer in second. Right behind him is the 8 of Ed Mahalsick. Right behind him is the 41 of Robert Lee. And right behind him is the number 96 of Mike Hungerford. We just saw caught up in that. That rounds out our top 5. We're going to go ahead and bring one of the guys down in the booth, Mark Fig. He wants to come in and talk. We're going to go green this time. Mark's going to come in and join us in the booth for the rest of the race. Mark Fig. Welcome to the booth as we get ready to go green. The lights are off on the pace car. Didn't have such a good race tonight, man. A little bad luck. Sorry about that.
Yeah, I just seem to find everybody spinning out in front of me.
Yeah, sometimes we have those nights. But welcome to the broadcast booth with us, Mark, and it was exciting watching you out there. Looks like we're getting ready to take the green. The pace car's off. Ed Mahalsa gets into the back of the 80 just a little bit because he doesn't go. Andy Lashinsky gets just a serious jump. He gets a nice, solid jump on that start. The 80 kind of holds up Ed Mahalsa, and now he's back there getting a little wiggly, and the 60 car is going to go ahead and take that spot from him and move Ed back in the 4th position. Looks like the 29 is going to get by him as well. Ed could be moved back out of the top 5 here. That one bad start. It looks like he's picking up speed a little bit. Bobby Cannon's got to try to get by him on the bottom, and that might not be so easy. Ed can run that thing up top. He's got Mike Hungerford behind him. And we've got the 60 car trying to take the 3rd spot away from Robert Lee in the 41. Ron Miller's got that thing down low and he's cruising. Ed Mahalsik's pulling up behind him. And Ed's saying, you guys thought you tossed me to the back of the field, but I'm still here. Looks like Ron Miller's going to pull off the pass, and Ed's going to climb underneath there. And, yeah, Ed's got it underneath there. He's got Brian Holman behind him, so he's got to go forward.
Yeah, it don't look like he's got the topside groove going for him tonight.
Looks like Andy Lashinsky up there in the 78 car is just kind of pulling away with the 80 of Mark Schaefer. Mark can't really do anything with him, but they're just running up there. He's just running a nice smooth line, staying right in the center of the track where he needs to be. It's going to be hard to haul him in. Ron Miller, although he's chasing him down. I mean, Ron's catching those guys. He's going to have a little draft back there to work with. And he's going to be able to pull up to the back of these guys in a few laps if it stays green.
Got a good battle going with Ed Mahalsik and Brian Holman. Going side by side there. Neither one of them is giving an inch. They're door to door.
Now, if you give them an inch, they'll take a mile. That's the logic they have out there on the track. So looks like Brian has to fall back into line. He can't get the pass completed on Ed. You know, like I said, when Ed gets up there on the top, he's a force. You know, he's a hard guy to get around. He can just run a nice smooth line up there, and he's comfortable.
Yeah, it looked like Brian tried to see if he can get the high side to work for him.
I think that'd be his best bet, would be to get above him and horsepower around him, you know, on the exits.
Oh, there we go. Brian's trying on the low side with a little bit of momentum.
Oh, and they get together a little bit.
They touch a little bit. Oh, there they go.
That's going to pull Mike Hungerford up alongside of Brian Holman. Mike's a little wrinkled up, but he said he didn't care. He's still got a gas pedal. It's still straight, so I'm still going.
Yeah, aerodynamics don't really play too much of a major play at this track. All you need is horsepower and 4 wheels, and you're good.
Hungerford pulled off the pass over Holman there, and now he's going to try to make the pass on the number 8. I don't know. He may just get it. Brian Holman may push him by just to get by him himself.
Yeah, Corey's trying to get up in there, but he got a little loose, went a little wide in that corner there, but he might have decided to back off a little bit, let these guys battle it out.
Yeah, we ain't heard a lot about Corey Volkanot tonight, and that's probably a good thing. It looks like he's got a nice, clean car. He's been saving it, you know, for this part of the race, these good, long, green runs.
That 62 has beat the bumper of the 96.
Yeah, he's got a little bit of damage on that backside, but I don't think that's really going to bother him too much in this race.
And it looks like we have a battle for the lead as Mark Schaefer drives underneath Andy Lashinsky, and Ron Miller pulls up behind them. Yeah, these guys are side by side in the lead. Ron Miller's just sitting back here in the catbird seat waiting for these guys to shake out. He's going to move in. He's ran them down from a pretty good clip. He's got a good car under him tonight.
I think Ron Miller's in the bird seat.
Oh yeah, Ron Miller's definitely in the catbird seat. These guys are going to wear their tires out, you know, and he's just going to sit there and run behind them. And it looks like Andy Lashinsky hangs on up top, though. Schaefer's not able to complete the pass.
Yeah, there's not too much fall off on these tires here at Bristol. After about a 50-lap run, you lose about 8% of your tire wear, so tires ain't too much of a worry. Uh-oh, Ed gets into the corner coming out of the turn there and gets a little wiggle, but able to collect it.
Ed Mahalsick, another guy having a good run tonight. He's up there in the 6th spot. He's got Bobby Cannon, Corey Valkenot working him over, and Gary Moore slowly crept into that picture.
That's a great camera view just had there.
Ed Mahalsick, he hangs on to that high side. I don't know how he does it. He'll get all out of shape, and then he'll collect it. And once he goes up high, he starts driving away.
After the 80's on the inside. The lead.
We have a battle for the lead. Mark Schaefer down low again. It just doesn't look like he can get enough run to pull up in front of him out of these corners like you got to do, and he just can't pull it off. He can pull up next to him. Ron Miller's back there just going, "Come on, you guys, make up your minds."
I think Ron Miller's just sitting back there, just waiting to pounce on somebody's mistake.
Back there licking his chops in his down valley ride. Ooh, Steve Bryan is around. Caution is out. Steve Bryan is around. Looks like he spins all by himself.
Looks like a hard hit.
The car's smoking, so I wonder how much if his pit crew can actually
He
take care of that for him.
finally had a good car tonight. He wasn't blinking. His internet connection was holding up, and wow, it's hard to see that. He's all by himself. He's just cruising around the track, and he hits the wall. Sends him down to that inside wall, and that's all she wrote.
Crushed the inside wall.
Yeah, he did. They're going to have to make sure he didn't crack his helmet when he hit. That's going to bring a whole bunch of cars down pit road. I would think everybody. I don't know how anybody could stay out right now and plan on staying out for the rest of the run. I mean, tires, you know, they took a pretty good beating right there. It's like Brian Holman. Brian Holman, he's going to stay out. He's going to say, I think I can do it. He just might, too. You never know. He's got the Fuzzy Taco ride behind him, the 32 of Robert Thompson.
I think if you pit now, you may make it on fuel if you try to go all the way, though. I think they might be getting 65 laps.
You can get about 50 laps on a run of fuel here with these cars.
50?
Yeah, 50.
And we're on lap 86. We're down to 9 cars on the lead lap. We got Steve Bryan in the 18, 2 laps down. I'm sure he's going to go a couple more laps down fixing damage right now. We got Gary Moore in the 53. He's 3 laps down. And then Mike Taylor is 10 laps down. Robert Lee, 19 laps down. Robert Thompson, 19 laps down. But Robert's still out. You know what? He's still out there. He's still making some noise. Mike Taylor's actually in the broadcast booth with us tonight. Mike, good of you to join us. Saw you had a little bit of a rough night out there tonight. We'd hoped you had a little better run, but you know, I see that thing is pretty wrinkled up. I guess they called you in and said we're going to load it up and take it home.
For the most part, right now I'm just sitting in the pits right now, waiting for them to fix up my car. I got about 5 more minutes before my car is fixed that I can actually drive it. So we had a little conversation before the race started today, Rob, and I think you jinxed me there, man.
I'm sorry, buddy. I think it's comical, but then again, I don't.
It's all fun and games for me. I love racing with big dogs, you know, whenever I can, and I just had a blast, you know, being able to run like that and stay up with the leaders on like last week. But I'm looking out forward to coming back out and just running a few more laps.
So what do you think of Brian Holman staying out on those tires? He's got a whole fleet of cars with fresh tires, and most of them look pretty clean behind him.
The tire wear here isn't really taking as much of a toll as I thought they would. On the second caution, I decided to stay out with a couple others, and I was running the same speeds that I was at the beginning of the race on fresh tires. So you can run quite a few laps here with fresh tires. So I'm not too worried about this. It looks like we're about to get the green this time.
All right, yep, we're getting ready to go green. The lights are off on the pace car. Looks like Brian Holman's going to pick the high line. Ron Miller's going to fall into the bottom. And Brian Holman gets a good jump on everybody right there. He's off like a shot. He's going to pull Mark Schaefer around. He gets a good start. Ron Miller's going to have to take a second to collect it. They got those fresh tires, so I don't think pulling up behind him is going to be too difficult. As everybody pretty much falls single file, we're down to about 10 or 12 cars on the track. And Mark Schaefer goes around Brian Holman for the lead, and he can pull it off on those fresh tires. We know he can get by then, but you know, a few more laps, maybe not, but right now he can get by him. And Mark Schaefer in the number 80 ride pulls up. Brian Holman slowly starting to drop back into the clutches of Ron Miller in that 60 car. Andy Lashinsky in that 78. They both got fresh tires. As Corey Valkenot, he decides he's going to park it for the night and go have himself a steak at the grill. Good race tonight, Corey. Looks like we got a little connection issue with Brian Holman. He seems to be blinking out just a little bit. Hopefully that doesn't affect the guys behind him too much. They're going to have to check up whenever he disappears. And they're going to go 3 wide here. Ooh, Andy Lashinsky hits the wall.
I'm sitting in the cockpit down here on the pit lane, just looking into turn 1, and as the field went into turn 1, I saw Brian disappear, and then all 3 cars are using 3 different grooves.
Well, they're gunning for him right now. He's got Ron Miller and Andy Lashinsky just breathing on his back bumper. Mark Schaefer's just enjoying this. He's pulling away. He's up there to a 1.7 second lead already on these guys. You would think you wouldn't want him to get too far away, because real estate's important here. It's hard to make that up.
Yeah, my notes are showing that Brian Holman pitted on his last pit was lap 56, so he's got a pretty good amount of laps on them tires, and he's starting to run a little low on fuel, so it's going to be about another 10-15 laps, and he's going to have to pit. But it looks like he's holding up the field a little bit because everybody's starting to bunch up. Uh-oh, got to back the wall.
29 of Bobby Cannon's around. See what happened to Bobby Cannon. He hit that inside wall hard. Like Bobby Cannon's up on the high side. He just gets into the wall and it sends him down into the A to Ed Mahalsick. And both cars heavily damaged, but it doesn't look like too many others piled into it.
Tough break for Ed there.
That's a tough break for Ed. He was having a good race. He had that high side hooked up tonight. Hopefully he can get it fixed and get back out there. Brian Holman's going to pit now. He's like, all right, Mark Schaefer, I seen you pull away to almost a 2-second lead right there. I got to get tires. That's going to bring most of them down pit road.
They can make it all the way from here.
Gary Moore's going to be the lucky dog.
All right, guys. Well, my crew called me back to my car, so I'll talk at you guys later.
Good luck, Mike. Looks like Bobby Cannon's parked on the infield. He's rolling, but not very well. That's going to put Mark Schaefer into the lead. Not a lot of clean cars left in this thing. Everybody's pretty smashed up, so my guess is body work. You know, if you look back, the 51's about the cleanest guy on the track right now, and you know, maybe that'll help him. But I don't know. It just seems to me like these guys were still passing people with the damage.
Yeah.
The driver's track.
They've had a heck of a race. Got to hand it to them. They've been out there hanging onto that steering wheel for everything since it started, and putting on a good show for us tonight. So we got to commend all them drivers on that. There's still 7 guys on the lead lap. Ed Mahalsik's now a lap down. Gary Moore's 2 laps down. We got the 80 of Mark Schaefer. He's up there. Right behind him is Mike Hungerford in the 96. Behind him is the 51 of Donnie Gates. Behind him is the 78 who's been strong all night, Andy Lashinsky. Then we've got Ron Miller in the number 60 car. Ron's another one you got to watch out for. He's hungry for a win. You know, he's up there in that high altitude, and his brain don't function right because of it. And sometimes he doesn't have the best race. But tonight he's thinking he might get a win.
Yeah, he's hungry to get up there in front and at least be there, let everybody know that he was there for the victory. But yeah, he's having a really good race tonight.
I have a sneaky feeling a couple of the top 2 cars took 2 tires maybe.
Ron's currently 4th in the points, I believe. He's up there. He's up in the top of the points somewhere. Believe it or not, I mean, he's had a couple rough races, but he's still doing okay in the points. And the pace car's getting ready to go off. The lights are off. Looks like Mark Schaefer's going to pick the high side. Looks like the high side's been preferred tonight in all these restarts.
Yeah, you can get really good momentum on the start on the high side there. You can let it wide open to 1 and 2 at the drop of the green flag and just let it roll.
Mike Taylor goes around the field, and Mark Schaefer gets a huge jump, pulling Ron Miller along with him on Mike Hungerford. Mike's down there on the bottom line, but you know, these fresh tires, he should be able to stick it down there and keep up with him. Well, Mark Schaefer, he's pulling away right
Ron
away.
Miller goes around in 2.
Ron Miller's around.
He's around. He gets loose going through the middle of the corner. So.
Pace car's out. We'll get them all back in a group. Ron will get that thing turned around. Doesn't look like he took a lot of damage from that.
Yeah, we'll see what he looks like there.
And how about another word from our sponsor, the guys over at Bob's Motorsports, who are so kind enough to help us sponsor this entire series. And, happy 4th of July to you guys over at Bob's. And we're back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Big Dogs Racing Firecracker 150, sponsored by Bob's Motorsports. Once again, I'd like to give a shout out to the guys over at Glacier TV. Phil Diaz, who's here as a cameraman, doing a kick-butt job. This race has been a good one. We're at lap 108 of 150. We started this race with 16 cars, and now we're down to 6 on the lead lap, I believe. There's been 7 or 8 cautions, but these guys have been door to door all night long. I mean, You know, these cautions that they're having are just super hard racing, but they look like they're having a good time out there. This thing's still up in the air for anyone. Should be a good finish here. They got enough fuel to make it.
Yeah, it's just about go time now, I'd say.
Yeah, it is time, isn't it? 40 laps to go. I mean, you've got to get out front. You know, we've seen Mark Schaefer all night. When he gets up front, he's got a heck of a good start. So these guys got to be ready to jump early. It seems like right after the pace car pulls off, he's gunning it. And once he gets that clean air, there's really no reeling him in.
Yeah, they got to watch it because the leader does start the race, and they anticipate him leaving with the pace car, and they leave. It'll hurt them in the long run.
As they line up, pace car gets ready to pull off. Mike Hungerford pulls up a little bit. He says, well, I can't see it very good on that side, so I'm going to keep you a little bit behind me. So when you go, I know.
Yeah, that's a good idea right there.
Well, the only problem is if he crosses that start-finish line first, you know, he could get a black flag penalty, and here we go. And Mark Schaefer gets an early jump on that start. Brian Holman goes with him. He says, I'm not sleeping.
Oh, the 62 got loose.
Brian Holman gets loose. He's battling with Mike Hungerford right there. Mike don't want to give up that spot off the start.
Yeah, Mike Hungerford and Brian Holman. Mike Hungerford and Brian Holman have been beating and banging on each other all night, and I'm pretty sure Mike's wanting to return the favor if he ever gets back up there with him.
Look, I thought somebody went around, but it was just Gary Moore got a little loose back there. He'll be all right. He's up and going again. Mark Schaefer's pulling away, but Brian Holman's got pretty good air behind him. It looks like he's closing that gap just a little at a time.
Yeah, the gap between first and second is .496 seconds that last lap, and he's reeling them in about a half a tenth a lap. So
that's all it takes. But then again, once you get to him, can you get by him? If he doesn't open that top lineup, and you got to do it on the bottom, can you get it done?
Like he's digging hard.
Ooh, Mike Hungerford splashes the wall behind him. That's going to slow him down a little bit. That's going to allow Andy Lashinsky and Robert Thompson to pull right up on his back bumper. Robert Thompson's going to look low. You know, he's going to... Well, Robert, there's no quit in him. You know, he's 23 laps down, and he's still racing as hard as he can. He's got Ron Miller behind him. He's pulling up in there.
Yeah, the 60 car is coming back hard.
Yeah, he's kind of caught up back there, but between a rock and a hard place. He's got Robert Thompson right in front of him and Andy Lashinsky up high. There's really nowhere to go, so he's got to hope something shakes out before these two up front really get a good pull on these guys. Pretty soon, you know, with 30 laps to go this time by, you're running out of time to run them down. There's no cautions.
Yeah, laps go faster.
Yep, the 60 goes low on the 78. He's going to get by him, maybe. I mean, you know, we talked about it. Does he have enough tires?
Yeah, Ron just needs to buy his time right here because he's the first one to lap down. So if another caution comes out, he can get the lucky dog.
He's had a fast car all night.
Yes, he has.
Yeah, he's been on a rail so far all night. Looks like he's backing off. I think he's playing the smart game.
Brian Holman still running a half a second behind Mark Schaefer. It looks like his fresh tires might be, you know, just evening out with him now.
And Brian Holman's starting to fall off the pace a little bit. And, who knows, he might be sitting back and riding, trying to save his stuff for the end.
He might be, but knowing Brian Holman, he's giving her hell. I mean, he's not known to lay back too often unless he knows something. You know, he may realize that he could be a lot lower on fuel or tires. You know, there's some strategies out there that we didn't quite catch all of, and that usually plays into it.
Yeah, he might be playing the fuel strategy. If this goes green all the way to the end, he's going to make sure he's got enough to make it to the end.
78 gets off the wall. He hit the wall real hard there coming out of turn 4, and that's going to slow him down a little bit. Ron Miller's behind him. I think Ron will be able to move up and take that pass now. I know the wall really poses a threat to these cars when you get into it too many times.
$60 cars really hoping for a caution right now.
I think even 62 of Brian Holman's hoping for a caution too. He's like, man, I can't reel this guy in. He's back to a 1 second behind him now. Mark Schaefer's pulling ahead on him.
I think Mark Schaefer's holding out the good stuff. Down the go.
Yeah, he's gaining a tenth of lap on him too, so he's really, that clean air, he's got that thing just screaming. I don't know if Brian Holman will try to change lines. I think I'd start fishing around for a different line.
Plenty to go.
This is really a two-horse race at this time. Donnie Gates on the bottom of the track. Something must have happened to Donnie. He's going down pit road for repairs. Donnie's currently scored 18 laps down, so he may be just calling it a night. He may have had enough.
And Mark Schaefer's just a great line.
Yeah, he was in the pit, and I think he was just trying to see if his car will be able to make it with the repairs his pit crew was able to do on it.
Mike Hungerford just took his spot back from Robert Thompson. It's not for position, but he sure powered by him in a hurry at 96. He's getting a good feel on these tires now too. He had lost that spot for a couple laps, and he just decided to go, and he took it back. So this thing's looking like it's going to go green the rest of the way. Can anybody reel in Mark Schaefer with 15 to go? It doesn't look like it. He's just pulling farther and farther away.
Running a smooth line. I don't think anybody's going to catch him.
We got the A to Ed Mahalsick back on the track after a really heavy repair session. Good to see Ed back out there.
29 of Bobby Cannon is out on the track trying to turn some laps, trying to better his position.
Looks like Ed did all those repairs, come out and splash the wall again just as he was getting a run on Robert Thompson. Bobby Cannon brings it back up to speed. Looks like he's going to fall in behind Brian Holman there, who's looks like he's out of ideas, and Mark Schaefer's just going to drive away with this thing unless there's some cautions on the track, and I just don't see a caution happen. It looks like Donnie Gates going to pull back in. Get more repairs.
10 to go.
Ed Mahalsick's trying to get by Robert Thompson there.
A battle of lap down cars.
Yes, sir.
Can Ed pull off the pass? You know, we haven't seen. Oh, he did. He got him. All he's got to do is pull up in front of him now, and Ed's taking off. He's got them fresh tires. You know, he was in the pits getting repairs, and you know he got 4 tires when he was in there. So, got a full tank of gas, got it nice and loose. And He's out there running it for everything it's worth. Good job, Ed. Brian Holman's moved it up a half a groove, trying to maybe run down Mark Schaefer as he runs into the lap traffic of Gary Moore. Gary's going to move over and give him the bottom. He's got a 3-second lead on Holman at this point in time, so I just don't see him running him down from here.
Yeah, that's going to be a real hard deficit to do. There's not so many cars on the track to have lap down traffic to really play a factor in slowing down the leader and being able to catch him. So.
Yeah, we'll have to get a hold of Brian Holman and Mark Schaefer after the race and talk to our race admin, Gary Moore, and hear about next week's race as well. Coming up here shortly as we announce the winner to the Big Dogs Racing Firecracker 150 Bristol Motor Speedway, the world's fastest asphalt half mile. iRacing late model series. Oh, concrete. Sorry.
That's what we're here for.
Yeah, it is. It is. Keep me in check. Looks like he'll be taking the white flag. Mark Schaefer, the number 8.
All over but the crown.
Mark's going to drive his car under a circle tonight. A happy guy. You know, he had a rough race last week. Yeah. This will be a comeback race for him.
Yeah, white flag lap. He's got a quarter mile left to go. As long as he keeps it clean, hits his marks, he should be good to go. Here he comes.
He's not going to let off and drive with everything he's got.
Yeah. Mark Schaefer takes a win with a 4.544 second margin of victory over Brian Holman.
Coming in second is number 62, Brian Holman. A strong third place finish for number 96, Michael Hungerford. Good fourth place finish for last week's race winner, Andy Lashinsky in the 78 car. Followed by Ron Miller will be your top 5. Gary Moore in the 6th spot, the number 53. Robert Thompson in the number 32 will bring it in 7th. Donnie Gates in the number 51, bringing home in 8th place. Ed Mahalsick in the number 8, Goodridge Chevrolet in 9th place. Bobby shot out of a cannon. Didn't have such a good run tonight as he brings home a top 10 though in the number 29. Corey Valkenot in the number 21 finishes in the 11th spot. Steve Bryan in the number 18 finished 12th, followed by Mike Taylor in the number 48. Robert Lee, last season's champion in the 41, brings it home in 14th place. Dennis Wilder 15th place, and to round out the field, our co-partner in crime here in the broadcast booth, Mark Figueroa.
Hey, there you go. You got it right this week.
I did. I've been practicing all week, as you know. Let me get the drive, see if we can get a hold of the winner, Mark Schaefer.
Just finished his nice burnout there.
Now he's doing his little Pollock victory lap.
Well, let's see if we can get somebody to run alongside him here and interview him while he's going in a circle.
I can't run that fast.
I know, I'm old, fat, and slow too, but you know, maybe he'll run out of gas eventually. Mark Schaefer, Rob Moore in the broadcast booth. Congratulations on your win, buddy. We're watching you do your backwards donut here. You're going around the track backwards. Good run tonight, man. Good, strong finish to what looked like a pretty difficult race. How you doing today, bud?
I am wore out now. This setup was, we were fighting a tight condition all night. It was just unbelievable. I had older tires than Brian. I still don't know how I beat him. I guess clean air matters in these late models too. So all the people that think just cup cars are relying on clean air, these late models are too.
We did notice that last night when we were practicing a little bit with this setup, that the clean air was going to be key, and being able to pick what line you want to run. And it also looked like once the tires came in, that top line got a little faster.
Yes, sir, it sure did. This thing was just on rails, a little tight, but it worked.
Well, good run tonight, Mark. Good to see another victory under your belt. We look forward to having you in plenty more Big Dogs races in the future. We're going to go ahead and bring in the second place finisher, Brian Holman.
I'd just like to thank 5-Star Justin and Big Dogs Racing for allowing me to race tonight. This was fun.
Anyone else you want to thank?
Just you for being the commentator.
Well, tonight you'd have to thank Scott Joker Griswold and Mark Figueroa, Phil Diaz. Those guys helped put on a pretty good show tonight, and they're all appreciated here in the broadcast booth.
Well, thanks, guys. It's been fun. Hopefully see you next week.
Great race, Mark.
Brian Holman, second place finisher tonight. How you doing tonight, Brian? Looked like you had a pretty good run going. You just kind of ran out of tires there.
Yeah.
Sure it was his tires?
That 80 pretty dang fast, so I think he just had a
good run tonight, Brian. Way to bring home that second position in that number 62 BB&T Brian Holman Designs Chevrolet of yours. Want to give a shout out to anybody tonight?
Nah, better not.
Well, I noticed there was some new paint on the back of your car. Something about a children's charity?
Yeah, racing for our Children's Healthcare of Atlanta. You know, trying to get some awareness for them and hopefully raise up a little bit of money for them.
Let's hope some of them kids got a chance to sit down and watch you race that car to second place tonight, Brian.
Hey, I appreciate it.
You know, that will give you the lead in points, Brian, going into week 5. So congratulations on your points lead.
Oh, thank you, man.
I'm not sure. Where are we going next week, guys? Well, let's bring in Gary Moore, the race admin, and we'll find out. Gary Moore, how you doing, race admin for tonight? We noticed a little bit of difference in the way this race played out tonight. We didn't see quite the ruckus at the end of the race. We saw some real hard driving, and you know, there was a few cautions, but it didn't look like anything crazy was happening. First off, congratulations on getting it toned down. And second, what did you think of tonight's overall race?
It was an enjoyable race from my point of view. Everybody did seem to mind their P's and Q's, so to say. Once we got strung out there a little bit, we seemed to get some good long runs in.
So, where are we headed next week on the schedule, Gary?
Next week we'll be at Phoenix.
Phoenix International Speedway, PIR, down there in the blazing heat in the middle of August.
Oh, that should be so much fun, but we're looking forward to it. And again, thanks, Glacier TV, for putting on the show tonight.
Let's see if Mike Hungerford's around. You know, he brought in a good, strong third-place finish tonight. And let's bring in Mike and close out the show. And Mike Hungerford, you got your ears on, buddy.
Yes, sir. How you doing, Rob?
Good, man. How are you? Welcome to the broadcast booth. Good third-place finish tonight. You had a strong car all night long. We've seen you back there just hunting in traffic all night. Tell us a little about your race.
Well, the original idea was I was just going to hang around in the back, and then I got spun there early and took a little bit of my strategy out, so I started pushing more towards the front and had a pretty clean race the whole time and managed to get that third place.
Good run tonight, man. Anybody you want to give a shout out to?
Just my crew for getting my car fixed back up after I got spun early, and that's about it. I got my teammates, Mark Schaefer, and he had a great race, got that first place finish, and we brought it home for the team.
Well, good job tonight. And that wraps it up for the Big Dogs Racing Firecracker 150 from Bristol Motor Speedway, as we look forward to seeing you all next week from Phoenix International Raceway. Should be a heck of a show that night. Everybody's hot in the middle of summer. Thanks for coming tonight. Thanks for watching. Tune in next week.